Here's a very important slide, and we're going to focus on this a couple of times throughout the talk today. Seniors were asked, what is your biggest fear about aging? What do you fear most about aging? And by far, huge number, loss of independence. Number 2, the possibility of going into a nursing home, which is really what? A loss of independence, right? Number 3, the loss of family and friends as you age. Number 4, giving up driving, which again is a loss of independence, right? And death is a tiny 3%. So by a huge margin, even if they didn't say loss of independence, they really meant loss of independence, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. That's kind of what the successful aging steps are all about. How do you stay independently for as long as possible? Here's a fear that should be on that list. We're going to call this fear number 6. Alzheimer's and related dementias. The longer you live, the better chance you have of getting Alzheimer's. The less healthy your body is, the better chance you have of getting Alzheimer's disease. So remember we talked about the baby boomer generation, the generation of massive people that is now moving into their senior years. They are the first generation to be less healthy than the generation before. So they are going to live a longer time because of the advances in medical science, but they're unhealthy, mostly because they're overweight. They are what they are calling the perfect storm to bankrupt Medicare and Medicaid, because if anybody's aware of the amount of resources that people who have Alzheimer's need as far as care, they're going to say bankrupt Medicare and Medicaid over the next couple of years because of the amount of care that they're going to need. So we're going to call this fear number 6. It should be on that list. Alzheimer's and related dementias. So what is successful aging? Is it living to be 100? Is that successful? Not necessarily, right? Not if you had Alzheimer's for 30 years or you were bedridden for many of those years. What about if you could avoid or delay all 6 of those biggest fears we just talked about for as long as possible? Would that be successful? We like to say successful aging is not just adding years to your life, but adding life to your years, to have the best quality of life you can possibly have, no matter how long you live. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we do that? How do we age more successfully? Okay, we have to focus on the things we have control over, because the things we don't have control over, we can't worry about. It's a waste of time. So what about our genes? Can we control our genes? Actually, we always thought that genes were everything when it came to aging, right? If somebody lived a long time, their parents lived a long time, they've got good genes, right? You've heard that before. Now science has found that genes play only about a 20% role in successful aging. It's the choices you make throughout your life that affect those genes. Just because you were born with the gene for heart disease doesn't mean you're going to get it. Just because you were born with the gene for Alzheimer's disease doesn't mean you're going to get it. There are ways to put that off for as long as possible. And we're going to talk about that as we climb the steps to successful aging. Let's start at number 12, advocating. Remember I was telling you how powerful a group you are? Well, this is one of the ways that you can use it. To advocate for the things you need before you actually need them. Things like giving up the keys to driving. If you have to do that at some point, if you haven't already, you're going to find out very quickly there are very few transportation services available to you, although you're very lucky here in Rhinebeck, they do have a service. But most places in Dutchess County do not have that service. You may have dial-a-ride, you may be able to get to medical appointments through various services, but there's not a lot of opportunities once you give up those keys to get around unless you've got a friend that's going to drive you there. Okay? But there's lots of other things you should be advocating for. If you need to, again, give up your keys, you need to walk to your grocery store. If you don't have a grocery store locally or you don't have good sidewalks to that grocery store, you're not even going to be able to walk there. Okay? A lot of things to be advocating for now before you realize they're not available and you need them. Okay? In order to stay in your community, you want to advocate for those things now. You're a very powerful group. You get a bunch of seniors show up for a town board meeting advocating for something, they're going to listen. Because again, you vote. A lot of younger people don't take advantage of that opportunity, but they know that seniors do. Okay? Number 11 is personal safety and smart consumerism. Do I have to tell you about all the senior scams that are out there? What I tell my own mother is don't answer the phone, look at the caller ID. If you don't know who that person is, let them leave a message. There's very few good things that come through a telephone call. The IRS does not call you and let you know that you owe them tons of money and they're going to sue you by telephone. They will certainly send you a registered letter. Okay? Even answering the door. When I was a kid, we didn't even lock our door. Girl Scouts came around selling cookies, people came around, neighbors stopped over. It's not like that anymore. Okay? Don't answer the door unless you're expecting somebody. If you see somebody, even from a utility company, this is a very common scam. They'll come to your door, they'll say they're from Central Hudson or whatever. If you weren't expecting them, call Central Hudson and find out why they're knocking on your door. Don't answer the door to just anybody, unless you know who they are and you were expecting them. A very common scam where somebody will say they're from a utility company, they won't come in your door. They'll stand there and ask you tons of questions and what have you. Meanwhile, their partner is going through your back door or in your window and taking away all of your valuables. Okay? There's lots of different scams out there. Be wary. Question why somebody's at your door, why they're calling you. Don't just accept it, okay? Very, very important. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Another big one. I just want to touch on one more really important scam. Grandma, it's me. Is everybody aware of this? Where a young person calls and says, Grandma, it's me. I'm in jail. I need $1,000. They won't let me out of jail. I'm in a foreign country. I'm wherever I am. I need you to wire me $1,000 as soon as you can. And of course, the senior feels awful, and they get the information, and they wire $1,000. Then, if you send $1,000, they'll call back and say, guess what? I need $3,000. They upped the bail because I didn't have it in time, blah, blah, blah. And you think, who would fall for that? Who wouldn't know the sound of their grandchild's voice or whatever? Well, most likely the grandchild probably hasn't called grandma in a while, right? And they always say, whatever you do, don't tell mom and dad, they'll kill me. We've had seniors right here in Dutchess County fall for that scam for $5,000, even $10,000, before they realized they were being scammed and they were too embarrassed to even tell their children about what happened. Okay? Again, don't answer the phone unless you recognize the phone number. If you don't have caller ID, I recommend you get it so you can look and see the numbers before they're answered, okay? Fall prevention. How many went to the Matter of Balance program demonstration? Very good. If you want some information about our fall prevention program called the Matter of Balance, especially great for people who have fallen and now are afraid to go out maybe or not being as social as they once were, we have some information at our desk, which is right outside the doors here. We'll be happy to give some information. They're doing another demonstration at 11:30. Fall prevention is very, very important. We're not trying to prevent the season of fall. We're trying to prevent seniors from falling. It's one of the most dangerous things that can happen to you as you age, especially if you have osteoporosis, you fall and break a hip or your hand or whatever it may be. Very, very important to go home today, take a look around your home, make sure there aren't any fall hazards. I just got back from Florida. At my mother's house, she had a nice throw rug in front of the door and another one by the sink. And I said, Mom, these are going. Fall rugs are very, very dangerous. It's a slip and fall hazard. Okay? Wipe up any spills that happen. Don't use step ladders or step stools or anything in the kitchen as you age. Take a look around today. Make sure there isn't anything blocking your path if you happen to get up at nighttime and you're walking around the house. Everything should be put away. There should be clear pathways. No wires across the floor or anything like that. And then we have our File of Life. Is everybody familiar with the File of Life packet? If you don't have one, let me know after the presentation today. I'd be happy to get you one. This is a little packet that it's magnetized. You put it on your refrigerator. It comes with a little sticker inside. You put that sticker on your front door. If an EMT happens to come to your door in an emergency, inside the packet, they have all the information they need to know to work on you immediately. It's all your doctor's information, the medications that you're taking, any chronic illnesses that you may have, everything they need to know to work on you immediately is all contained right here in this packet. You fill it out in pencil, because every 6 months you want to update it and take a look at it, make sure everything is still the way that it is. You can also use this in your car, or ladies put it in your purse. You put a little picture of yourself in there so the EMT knows exactly whose File of Life it is, they're sure of it. If you're going to use it in your car, put it in your glove compartment. The sticker goes on the driver's side door down by the lock. If you're in an accident, sometimes you may be okay to talk, but you may be too shooken up to remember what your dosages are, what medications you're taking, or your emergency contact number, or your doctor's phone number. They can be working on you in the ambulance on the way to the hospital and calling your doctor and your emergency contact and letting them know that they're taking you in. Okay? This can be a lifesaver when seconds count. So if you don't have one already, stop up, see me after the program today. I'd be happy to get you one of those. Number 10 is planning ahead. How are you going to get around without a car? We already talked a little bit about it because it is one of the most difficult decisions a senior will have to make. And if you'll live long enough, you'll have to make that decision for your own safety and for everyone else's safety. Very, very important to plan ahead for that time, and when that time comes, how are you going to get around without that car? If you haven't already, you're going to stay in the big home that you raised your children in or downsize to something smaller. Another tough decision that seniors have to make. If you're currently partnered and your partner passes away, well, your bills all get cut in half, right? No. They say you're still going to pay about 80%. I say it's closer to 85, 90%. Because there aren't too many things. Unless you do downsize, there are very few things that are going to go away. Very few bills go away once your partner passes away. You're still going to have the same mortgage or rent. You're still going to have the same tax bills. You're still going to have the same utility bills. You might save a little bit on food, but I think most of you know that you can probably serve two people almost the same food bill as you can with one. All right? So a lot of your bills won't go away unless you make some changes. What about modifications to your home to stay there as long as possible? Things like grab bars in the bathroom. If you are in rehab and they send you home in a wheelchair or a walker, are you able to get around your house in that wheelchair or walker? Can you even get in your bathroom in a wheelchair or a walker? If you live in an older home, some of those bathrooms are very small. Take a look when you get home today and make sure that you're able to navigate your home. Even if it's just for a short time that you're in that wheelchair or walker, you want to get home as soon as possible. So you want to make sure that your home is accessible in a wheelchair or a walker. Even if you have somebody there to help you, you still may have trouble getting in and out of the bathroom. Okay? And then there are several aging-in-place organizations here in Dutchess County that can help you stay in your home for as long as possible. Nina Lynch, who helped coordinate this event here today, is from the one here in Rhinebeck at Home. If you want more information about that, you can stop and see Nina or any of the vendors here. I'm sure can point out Nina to you, and she can give you information about joining that group. It's all volunteer. You join as a volunteer, and they can provide you with a lot of the things you may need to stay in your home for as long as possible. Anybody here a member of Rhinebeck at Home? Very good. So I don't need to, it looks like almost everybody, so I don't need to tell you too much about that organization, but a great organization, a lot of great people, a lot of social events, and then they also have volunteers that can provide things like transportation and what have you. So stop by or ask the person sitting next to you who probably is a member. And then there's a lot of legal issues to keep in mind as you age. A trust, will, healthcare proxy, living will, and a power of attorney. Very, very important. If you don't know what those things are and what they do, we have a lawyer at our office who works every Friday. It is on a suggested donation basis. If you can't afford your own lawyer, he can get a will done for you, a power of attorney done for you at a suggested donation. If you're not able to afford that cost, it's absolutely free. You can call our office to make an appointment. There is a waiting list, obviously, because it's a very popular program, but he would be happy to give you that. They will be happy to give you the information and all the qualifications and what have you. So very important to have these things. Even if you don't have a lot to pass on to your heirs, you want to make sure that they do get it and the person who you want to have it gets it, and it's not just fought over after you're gone. Okay? Number 9 is give of yourself. We're talking about volunteering. There are over 10,000 senior volunteers here in Dutchess County alone. And if the county had to actually pay those volunteers for the work they did, it would cost over $56 million a year. That's just senior volunteers. How many of you volunteer here today? Yeah. Pretty amazing, right? I love this next statistic because this is so fascinating. Volunteers over the age of 65 cut their risk of death in half. That's pretty amazing, right? If you volunteer after the age of 65, you cut your risk of death in half. Anybody want to take a guess why? Yes, you're still involved. What? Busy? Yeah. What else? Yes.
It creates a feeling of satisfaction.
It sure does, doesn't it? It really does. It makes you feel good about yourself. Absolutely. What else? What do you think people who are over 65, or excuse me, under 65 are still doing that they're getting those benefits already? Working, right? People who are under 65 are probably still working. When I go into work every day, I like to call my boss my work wife because I have to sit and look at her for 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day. She is right across the hall from me, okay? If I go in, I work with 50 other women, right? And they all say, good morning, Joe, how was your day? They bring in gifts and cake and all kinds of cookies and whatever. I get a lot of socialization through my job, okay? A lot of people are very concerned about me. If I didn't show up one day for work and I didn't call in and say I was sick, you better believe somebody would be on the phone within a half hour probably wondering where I am. Am I okay? You get those same benefits and even more from volunteering. People are counting on you, right? You get that socialization when you go in. If you didn't show up for your volunteer assignment, well, those people are going to find out what's going on. You make new friends. You're doing other things with those people. And you feel great about yourself because you're giving back to other people. I tell our volunteers at our office that you're not just providing necessarily a meal for somebody, you know, when you deliver a home-delivered meal or providing exercise, you know, class for people. You are giving them something, but you are getting something even more powerful. You're getting an incredible gift that is really helping you age more successfully. So volunteer if you're not already. Number 8 is nurture something. Did you know just having a dog in your house can lower your blood pressure and cholesterol levels? If you like dogs. If you don't like dogs, it doesn't work as well. But any kind of pet will do the same thing. They have found for some reason it works best with dogs. And any dog lovers here? Anybody have a dog? If you have a dog and I have a dog, what do you get from that dog every single day? Unconditional love. I could come home in the worst mood ever. I don't want to deal with a person in my life because it's just an awful day, right? Come in, that dog it's like Jesus has arrived back to the house, you know. He's just so happy to see me, does the happy dance. He doesn't care what kind of mood I'm in. He's just so thrilled to see me, right? You have to walk a dog. You have to feed a dog, right? For some reason it works best with dogs, but they have found any animal that you have in your house, it does the same thing. If you like cats, if you like ferrets, if you like watching fish in a fish tank, you can lower your blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Whatever animal it is. But if you don't like animals, that's okay. There's plenty of other ways to get that same great feeling. Anybody here like to bake? If you like to bake, when you put out a nice spread for people, right? What are they all saying? This is delicious. Oh my God, you're going to give me the recipe. It makes you feel good, right? If you like to garden, when you walk out in the springtime and you see your vegetables growing or your flowers blooming, how do you feel? Okay. Feel great, right? Everybody knows that feeling. We just don't have a word for it. That's really good for you. Don't stop doing those things that you love to do, whatever it is. If you like to write poetry, if you like to scrapbook, if you like to knit, whatever it is that gives you that great feeling, keep doing it. It's very, very important as we age to keep doing those things that you love to do and that give you that great feeling. Number 7 is laughter. I want you to think of the last time you really busted a gut. I mean, you were laughing so hard, you couldn't hold it in. You were covering your mouth probably because you were making so much noise. You just couldn't stop laughing. Maybe the next day your stomach hurt from laughing so hard. Raise your hand if you were absolutely by yourself when you were laughing that hard. Very rare. There's always one. But it's very, very rare that you laugh that hard when you're sitting at home by yourself. Almost always, we laugh hardest with our family and friends because we are social creatures. Being around other people makes us feel good. If you go to a movie and watch a funny movie and you're laughing, everybody's laughing around you, you can't help but laugh. You can't sit there stone-faced when everybody else is laughing so hard. If you go home and watch that same movie by yourself, you'll be like, what's so funny? This wasn't that funny. Okay? It's not as funny alone as it is with other people, and you share that sense of laughter. Great statistic. Children, on average, laugh 300 times a day. Adults, 17. And laughter, you've heard, laughter is the best medicine. It really is a medicine. When you laugh, even when you fake laugh, and there are fake laughing groups. It started in India, but it's all over America as well, where you just sit around and laugh at nothing. Okay? Your brain produces endorphins and great stuff for your body. It helps your body fight off diseases. It's really, really good for you. Okay? It really is a medicine that your brain produces when you laugh. So stick around those people that make you laugh, that make you feel good. Stay away from the people that bring you down and make you feel depressed and can only talk about negative things. Okay? And we all know who they are. Okay? Stay away from those people. Stay around the people that make you laugh. Now we're going to talk about the exact opposite. Who likes change? People think they like change, but we're talking about aging, okay? And the changes that come with aging. And some of them may be, for instance, giving up driving when you really don't want to. Having to move out of your house and go into a nursing home or assisted living, or moving with family when you really don't want to. Getting a bad health report, losing your spouse, losing a child. If you live long enough, these are some of the things that could happen to you. And how you deal with those situations is a very important factor in successful aging. What I like to tell people again, if there's nothing you can do about it, then you've got to grieve or get through that process and then let it go, because it will eat you up inside. That last line on the screen is the most important. Depression is not a normal part of the aging process. People always think it is. Oh, well, they're aging, they're old, they're depressed. Okay? That is not the case. Depression is not a normal part of the aging process. But you can see how if some of these things, these changes that come with aging, happen too close to each other, when something happens and you're trying to get through it and process it, and then something else bad happens, and you really can start to feel depressed. And I'm not talking about regular depression we all have every once in a while where you, like I said, you just go home and you don't want to talk to anybody, you slam the door, you pull the phone out of the wall, you pull the covers over your head, right? It's not just me, is it? Everybody goes through that. That's normal, okay? Because somewhere in the back of your head, you know, in a day or so, I'm going to be fine. I just need to, this just was very upsetting. I need to get through this, okay? We're talking about depression that lasts for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you just can't get out of it. You can't seem to feel better. You can feel yourself spiraling downwards. That's when you need to speak to a professional, okay? Speak to your doctor about it. Doesn't mean you're going crazy or whatever. You're just having a hard time dealing with this right now. Okay? Depression is not a normal part of the aging process. So what's a great way to get out of depression? Number 5 is a great way. Social engagement. And you all get an A+ today for social engagement. You know why?
You're here.
Because you're here. Who did not speak to somebody so far today when they came in? It would be almost impossible to get all the way to the gym without having to speak to somebody, right? Somebody said hello, good morning, how are you, can I show you this, whatever it may be. Social engagement is one of the biggest factors to successful aging. Let's talk about social engagement. How many close friends do you have? How many people do you talk to on the average day? Now imagine a senior who is homebound, and their only connection is the person who brings them their home delivered meals every day. And their family has all moved across the country. They don't drive anymore, so they're not able to get out of their house. And the only connection they have is the telephone. Is the telephone as good as seeing people in person?
No.
No. It does not give you the same benefit in social engagement. It's better than nothing, but it is not the same. You need to stay socially connected. I can give you a couple examples of how important social engagement is. My mom and dad lived in Westchester for years. Okay, and once they became seniors, they bought a house in Florida, and they would go down there in the wintertime. Guess who got to take care of the house in Westchester? Yes. So I was always bugging them, why don't you just go down to Florida? Why do you keep going back and forth? Well, finally they decided, they went kicking and screaming, but they finally decided to go down to Florida. And after 2 years of being down there, my dad passed away. And I thought to myself, oh boy, I'm going to have to bring my mother back up here with me, or I'm going to have her go out to the west where my sisters are, but she's not going to be able to be there by herself. So I said, Mom, take some time, wait 6 months or so, let's see how you feel, where you want to go. And after 6 months, she said, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here. And I can tell you why. Because my mother is a social butterfly. She talks to anybody. She doesn't care who it is. We're in the grocery store, she's got to have a conversation with somebody. She goes to church every day. She has a whole group of friends that she had already made, from going to church. And they would go out to lunch after church. And then they would meet later for something else. And they would go here and there. And they didn't let her stay home by herself. Okay? She was so actively involved socially that she decided, after 6 months of, grieving and what have you, that I'm going to be okay. This is where all my friends are. Why am I going to move somewhere where I don't know anybody and have to start all over? She had plenty of friends. And I just came back from visiting her. She's still down there by herself. Here's another great example for guys. Men, we are not as socially engaged as women are. If my dad was the one that was left down there, there is no way he would be down there by himself. My mother was a social butterfly, he was not. Okay? She was the one dragging him to all the different places. Guys, it is just human nature. We are not as social as women are. We have to work at it much harder. So I did this for a group of widow and widowers down in Hopewell Junction, a very large group from Dutchess County. And one of the gentlemen came up and said, Joe, I know exactly what you mean. He said, when you were talking about men being not, my wife was the social butterfly, I didn't care, But after she passed away, I realized, I need to get out of the house. So I joined this group, and I really don't care about the restaurants they go to or the plays they go to see, but I know it's good for me. And it really hit home about a month ago. He said, because you see that woman over there? And he pointed to one of the other women in the group. He says, about a month ago, I needed to have an operation down in Mount Kisco. Just a 4-hour operation. But the doctor told me I wouldn't be able to drive home, so somebody was going to have to drive me down, wait the 4 hours, and drive me back. And that lady over there volunteered to do it. And if I wasn't a part of this group, there's no way that I would have had that service. Here I had somebody to drive me down there, wait 4 hours, and drive me right back to my house and make sure I was okay getting inside. Who gives that kind of service? Only your friends. Only the people that know you and care about you. So, guys, we have to work at it much harder than women do. They're more naturally social. We have to really work at it. Okay? Social engagement, really one of the biggest keys to successful aging. Mental fitness is also very important. Each time we go up a step, it's even more important. So a lot of people will say to me, Joe, I'm great with the mental fitness. I love to do crossword puzzles, I love to play cards, I love to do whatever it is, I love to read, whatever it is they love to do, they say is great for mental fitness. And it is, it's great for maintaining the brains you have. But when we talk about mental fitness as you age, we're talking about creating new brain cells. That is the most important part of mental fitness as you age. Why do we want to create new brain cells? Anybody? Say it again?
The other ones aren't working so well.
The others are actually disappearing. Okay, we're losing some brain cells as we age, so we want to replace those. But there's another really, really big reason why. Remember that fear number 6 I talked about, Alzheimer's and related dementias? Does everybody understand how Alzheimer's works? It slowly takes over your brain. Okay? So what they have found, even though there's no cure for Alzheimer's right now, the bigger brain you have, the more brain cells you have, and the healthier your body is, the slower Alzheimer's can take over. So hopefully you'll outlive those effects of Alzheimer's. That is the key to mental fitness as you age. So how do we create new brain cells? There's only one way. By learning something new. By doing something differently. If you like to do it, it's not creating new brain cells. It's maintaining the ones you have. You have to be exposed to new things. I'll pick on my mom. This is a great example of creating new brain cells. My mother was never very good with anything electronic. So when I bought my family their first TV with a remote, I went home, a week later, and I was like, Mom, where's the remote? She said, I put it in the drawer. I didn't want to hurt anybody with the laser. That'll give you an idea where she was on the technology scale, right? So I told her it was fine, everything's fine. So a couple of years ago, I bought her first cell phone. And I thought, well, this is probably a mistake, but let's see how she does. And sure enough, she would plug it in every night, and she'd put it in her purse every day, and she was making calls all over the place. I could see she was really using the cell phone by the bill. And I was really proud of her. I thought, this is fantastic. She loved that cell phone. So 2 years ago, I went down and said, guess what? I'm taking away your cell phone, and I'm getting you a smartphone. Everybody know what a smartphone is? Much more complicated, lots of different buttons you got to push, swiping, and what have you. I have never heard my mother curse. But I can guarantee you, the day I left her with that smartphone, she was cursing me out. Because she did not want this thing. She wanted her old phone that she was used to, she was comfortable with, she knew everything about it. But now she had to learn something brand new. That's the feeling you're going to have just before you create some new brain cells. And it took her about a month to figure out all the different calling features and how to do it. And I could even hear her when I would call her and say, how you doing? And she would hang up the phone. I could hear, this darn thing. You could hear her, still making different comments and stuff. But after about a month, she figured out how to do the phone, and she was making calls and receiving calls and doing just fine. It takes a little time, but she figured it all out. So the next time I went down, I showed her how to text, and I showed her how to go online and look up her prescriptions on Google, and how to do YouTube. And she just thought that was the greatest thing because she loves Deanna Durbin and she could watch Deanna Durbin movies on her telephone. And when she figured that out, she was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Okay? So she's feeling great about the phone. Now, any of you have grandchildren? So you know all your grandchildren probably have smartphones, right? But they never call. They never call on a smartphone. What do? They text, right? They don't even know this is a phone, okay? So how do you think my mom felt the morning she woke up and she looked on her phone and she had a message from one of her grandkids that said, "Hi Grandma, love you." And now she could communicate with her grandkids the way that they communicate. How many new brain cells do you think that took? Okay? You have to keep exposing yourself to new things. Things that you're going to feel foolish doing at first. But that's how you create those new brain cells. So anybody here, they say as seniors, the two best ways to create new brain cells are to learn a foreign language or a musical instrument. You don't have to do that, but they say that is the best way to create new brain cells as an adult because you use your brain to do those two things in a way we don't use it for anything else. You don't have to do that, I'm just letting you know that those are the two best ways they have found to create new brain cells. But there are lots and lots of different ways, and we're going to create some new brain cells right now, okay? Everybody got their brain warmed up this morning? You had your coffee? You ready to go? Okay, remember the key is learn new things. We're going to tell you a couple of things as we do these different things. I'm going to give you an easy question. Very easy. Everybody's going to know the answer. As soon as you know the answer, shout out the answer so that we know that you're working with us, okay? Here we go. First question. How many animals of each kind did Moses take on the ark? Two, right? Everybody agree?
Noah.
Say what?
It was Noah, not
Oh, wait a minute. I'll let you know a secret. I'm tricking you. Okay? I'm absolutely tricking you. Noah took animals on the ark. Moses did not take any. But almost everybody agreed immediately that 2 was the correct answer, right? And that's because our brain does not want to work unless it's forced to work. 99.9% of the day, although we think we're using our brain, we're actually on autopilot. Okay? Which is a great thing, because if you're on autopilot, you can advance the slides, hold the microphone, and talk your talk at the same time. Okay? You can walk and chew gum at the same time, because you're not having to think about it. And that's the way your brain is programmed to conserve as much energy as possible. It doesn't want to actually use your brain unless it absolutely has to. Okay? So I'm telling you, I'm tricking you. And I'm going to give you some more questions. Okay? Shout out the answer as soon as you know the answer. You'll be amazed how many people don't shout out anymore. But it's okay. This is just for fun. Ready? Here we go. If you were running a race and you passed the person in second place, what place would you be in? Shout it out. Nobody's shouting anymore. Second? You're sure? I'm tricking you. If you pass the person in second place, there is still somebody in first place. So you are now in second place. Okay? A lot of people will say first, because that's what your brain wants to say without thinking. Okay? Want to try one more? Here we go. Mary's mother had 4 children. The first was April, then May, then June. What was the 4th child's name? And I will give you a hint. The answer is right there on the screen. Mary. Yeah. I told you, Mary's mother has 4 children. It's amazing how we think our brain is working, but it's really not. Okay? These are called brain games, just some of the things that we do at our brain games classes, and there are plenty right here at Northern Dutchess Hospital. At Rhinebeck Library, they do a brain games class. In Red Hook, they do a brain games class. Actually, I think 2. If you want more information about that, stop by our table. We'll be happy to get your information. We'll send you out the complete list of classes and times and what times they meet. You want to try some more? Okay, this is an easy one, really easy. All you have to do is say the color of the word, not the word. That's my name. The color is?
Red.
Red, orange, whatever you said, as long as you didn't say Joe, you got it right. Okay? So I'm going to give you 4 words out loud together. We'll say the 4 words. Say the color of the word, not the word. Okay? I'll give you 4 words. Here we go. Out loud.
Blue, red,
Blue.
green, white.
Oh, it's not that easy, is it? Yeah. Let me explain to you what's going on here. Okay? You know you have two sides to your brain? One side wants to say the color, the other side wants to say the word. So you actually have to force one side of your brain not to work and only focus on the other side. You know that feeling you were just feeling when you were trying to do it? Okay? That's when you're creating some new brain cells. But you'll be amazed how quickly your body will respond to that. Your brain will immediately respond to these different stimulus. Okay? I'm going to do it again, and you'll do a little better. By the third one, you'll be amazed at how much better you're doing. Okay? So do it out loud. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody's doing it together. Here we go. Say the color of the word, not the word. Here we go. Better. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. Better, right? Amazing how quickly our body responds to this kind of stuff, right? And you've already created some new brain cells just by being exposed to this because it's something you've never been exposed to before. So that's what you want to keep doing. Don't keep doing the same thing or go the same route all the time. Try something different. It will help your brain create those new brain cells. Don't be afraid of something that's going to make you look stupid. That's the feeling you have just before you're about to create some new brain cells. Want to try one more fun brain game? These are fun. This one I like. I'm going to give you two words. You tell me what they have in common. So if I said a ship and a card, they both have a deck, right? Okay, so next one, a tree and a car. Both have a trunk, right? School and an eye. Pupil is correct. Pillow and court.
Case.
Case is correct. River and money.
Bank.
Bank is right. I will also accept flow. Bed and paper.
Sheet.
Sheet is correct. Army and water. This one always stumps everyone. Yes, a tank. Tennis and noise. Racket is right. Smoker and plumber. Pipe is correct. Do you want to hear what I did this recently for a high school group, and this is, I will have to say, I've never heard this answer from a senior group when I did this for seniors. When it came to smoker and plumber, they said crack. So I have to admit, that's a new one, but it is acceptable, so I'll take it. Okay. Number 3, medical. Take advantage of all the preventative tests and screenings that are available through Medicare. Every year you get that Medicare and You booklet. There are tons of things that are available to you. Some every year, some every 5 years, some every 10 years. As soon as it's available, take advantage of that free test or screening because it gives your doctor a baseline to look back at to see if something is going wrong, okay? Really, really important to take advantage of those things, including your annual wellness visit. When you schedule that, make sure you say, I'm scheduling my annual wellness visit, not a physical, because they will charge you for a physical. Your wellness visit is free, all right? So they'll ask you things like they'll check your memory, they'll go through a whole list of different things with you just to check you every year to see how you're doing, okay? Everybody got their flu shot? Very, very important. Any smokers here? I will tell you that almost always, 99% of the time, we have one here. Congratulations, sir.
Day 2, no smoking.
Oh, no smoking.
To day 2.
Day 2 of no smoking. Put that man. They say it's harder to quit than heroin, so congratulations. I mean, we will encourage you every way that we can because I will tell you that 99.9% of the time when I do this talk for a senior group, there is rarely, if ever, a smoker. And that probably tells you all you need to know about what smoking does to you. Any ex-smokers here? So you know how hard it is to give it up, okay? Once you have quit, your body immediately starts regenerating itself. If you've quit up to 40 years ago, it's like you've never smoked, okay? But every year that you're able to not smoke, your body is regenerating and getting better. So there's never a date that is too late to stop smoking, okay? Quality sleep. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is what you need every night. I usually get a good laugh at that one because it's harder as you age to get a full night's sleep. Sometimes if you're on medication, it's easier, but for most of us, it's harder. Even at my age, if you want to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably up. For some reason, that's my time for my body to just naturally wake up and decide, okay, I'm going to have to do something. Sometimes I can get right back to sleep, but usually I'm up, I'm doing something, and then I can go back to sleep. We had a sleep doctor talk to one of our senior seminars, And he said, here's the key when it comes to seniors and sleeping. It is harder to get a full night's sleep, but you must get, for your brain health, the minimum of 4 solid hours of sleep. 4 solid. Now what does that mean? That means you are falling asleep, and for 4 solid hours you are not getting up, you're not going to get a drink of water, you're not going to the bathroom, you are sleeping solidly for 4 hours. Then you can get up and do whatever you have to do, and you must still hopefully get that other 3 hours by falling back to sleep or taking a nap or whatever it may be. Your body needs that rest. Very, very important for brain health, okay? And for your overall body health. If you are sleepy during the day, guess what you're going to do? Eat more, because your body wants those calories. It thinks it wants energy, so it keeps, give me a snack, give me more coffee, give me more whatever it is that you want to feel like you're okay, okay? You have to get your quality sleep. A lot of mental health issues as you age. We're talking about gambling and hoarding addictions. I'm sure you've seen that on TV, a lot of that stuff. Prescription drug abuse, very common. And not just people taking, drugs that they weren't prescribed, but people taking a medication that for a little while after their doctor prescribes it, and then deciding they don't want to take it anymore and never telling the doctor. Or the doctor prescribes a new medication wanting you to stop the old medication, but you keep taking both. There's lots of different things that are happening with prescription drugs. Make sure you understand how you're supposed to take that medication before you leave the doctor's office. Ask the question. I know it sometimes feels like you're on an assembly line and they just want to get you out of there and they're off to the next door or whatever. But if you ask the questions, I always suggest writing those questions down before you even go into the doctor's office so you're prepared and you're not thinking, oh, well, there's something else I wanted to ask, but he's already gone. Write them down before you go in. Even starting the week before, writing things down that you want to ask the doctor. And bring that list in with you, and they'll answer every single one of those questions. Alcohol abuse. Very common even in senior women. Okay? Especially senior women. Here's how to tell if you have a problem, or you might have a problem. No more than 1 or 2 drinks in a night, or 7 in a week. And no, you can't have 7 in a night. And we all know what the size of the glass is supposed to be, right? That's the other one. Well, what size glass? Like they're going to have this big giant, glass. No. Normal size glass, no more than 7 in a week. Okay? Very, very important. And then get your regular doctor and dental visits, especially men, because men, we are he-men. We don't need the doctor. We don't ever go to the doctor unless we're on our deathbed. Right? Absolutely. We need to go to the doctor. Even if you're feeling fine, go at least once a year to get your annual wellness visit or physical. Make sure you're doing that. And women, make sure you get your men to do that. One of the reasons that we don't live as long as women is we don't take care of ourselves the way that you do. Very, very important. Encourage your men to go to the doctor. Even if they're okay, at least once a year. All right, nutrition. You are what you eat. Right? As Americans, we eat terrible. How should we be eating? Okay, here's a great way to look at it. We need at least 25 grams of fiber every single day, and that's what a small woman should be getting every day. A bigger person like me, maybe 30 grams, somebody bigger than me, maybe 35, even 40 grams of fiber every single day. Who gets that? If you do, you're amongst a very, very small percentage of Americans that do get the amount of fiber you should be getting. Congratulations. Most of us do not get anywhere near the amount of fiber we're supposed to get. So where do we get fiber from? 5 to 9 servings of colorful fruits and vegetables is a great start. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. And a serving is not that big. It's not a big giant bowl of salad. A salad, depending how big it is, could be 3 or 4 servings. Okay? A small banana is a serving. A quarter cup of blueberries is a serving. All right? Where else do we get fiber from? 100% whole grains. And that could be bread, it could be pasta, cereal. 100% whole grains is what you want. Very important to look for that 100%. Not whole wheat bread, not multigrain bread, not 7-nut bread, and there are tons of different varieties, right? You go through that grocery aisle, there's just all different types of bread. Look for the one that says 100% whole grain. You'll even see probably an American Heart Association heart right next to it, because anybody who knows anything about nutrition knows that that is the most nutrition-packed version of that meal, okay? So look for that. 100% whole grain pasta, 100% whole grain bread, whatever it is that you're eating, that's grains, look for the 100%. Where else do we get fiber from? Where else can we get fiber from? Anybody? Nuts, fantastic. Very good. Americans don't eat enough nuts. But guess what? Nuts are packed with nutrition. You don't want to have too much of them because they do have a lot of saturated fat. Most of it is good fat though. Okay? But just a small handful every day. If you can eliminate some bad snack food you're eating and replace it with nuts, you've already made an incredible positive impact on your diet. Any kind of nut is fantastic for you. Peanuts are great, that's fine. The two best ones, almonds and walnuts. The two most nutritionally dense nuts, okay? Very, very important. Because they're also packed with lean proteins. All right, one other place we want to get some fiber from. Where else can we get fiber from?
Beans.
Beans, absolutely. Americans don't eat enough beans. It's true. They are great for you. Again, packed with lots of lean protein, lots of healthy fiber, lots of other great nutrients. Beans, nuts, fantastic for you. Very good. We got a good group here today. Where else can we get lean protein from?
Fish.
Fish, very good source, especially fatty fish. Very, very good. You got lean protein and healthy fats, as do nuts and beans. What else?
Eggs.
Eggs are good. You want to be careful not to have too much.
That's not true anymore.
They say that, but we want to be careful. So you don't want to eat eggs every single day. Okay? Especially stay away from eggs if you already have high cholesterol. Yes?
What is this thing about eat the whole egg, not just the white? One year the whites were good, then the yellows were
Well,
good.
the yellow has lots of good nutrients in it as well. So this is what this lady was saying as well. They're saying now it's okay to eat eggs as long as you don't have already high cholesterol. Okay? But you
They
don't want to
have
have...
disproved that eating eggs or eating cholesterol contributes to cholesterol. That is not true.
But they're saying they don't want to recommend people who have high cholesterol to eat eggs, okay? If you read the study, that's what their recommendation was. They're saying now that they're not as bad as they thought they were. It's okay to eat eggs, but don't eat them every day, okay? You want to have a full rounded diet, not just rely on eggs for your protein, okay? So where else can we get some lean protein from? Chicken, yeah. Any kind of white meat is usually very good. The one that we want to stay away from is beef, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. How about healthy fats? Where can we get healthy fats from besides nuts and
Olive
beans?
oil.
Olive oil is a great, great example. You've heard of the Mediterranean diet? They couldn't figure out why these people were a little overweight, but they were fantastic shape. Their hearts were in great shape. Extra virgin, cold press, olive oil, very, very important. The least pasteurized version you can find is what you want. Okay, it has the most nutrients, great healthy fats in that. Where else?
Green.
Healthy fats. Where else can we get healthy fats from? Yes?
Avocado?
Avocado is a fantastic source, and it's becoming more and more popular now. Subway's made a big promotion about it. Avocado, if you like it, fantastic source of healthy fats. Women, I don't need to tell you how important calcium is in your diet, right? Especially as you age, to ward off osteoporosis. What we want is a lower fat and sugar intake. Because when your body tastes fat and sugar, guess what it wants? More fat and sugar. You remember the old Lay's potato chip commercial, bet you can't eat just one? You can't. Because once your body tastes that salt, it wants more. If your body has sugar, you can't have just one cookie and walk away. It's almost impossible. Once your body tastes that sugar, it wants more. Okay? So we try to stay away. Lower your salt and sugar intake, because once you're not experiencing that all the time, you're not as hungry for it all the time. We want a nutritionally dense diet. All the food we just talked about is nutritionally dense. Why do we want nutritionally dense foods as we age? Have you ever looked outside and seen kids playing? And they may just be running after each other for absolutely no reason, right? They're playing on the monkey bars, they're swinging on the swings, they're riding their bikes. When was the last time you looked outside and saw a bunch of seniors running around after each other? It doesn't happen, right? We don't burn off the same number of calories as we did when we were younger. But we still need the same nutrition, if not more. So we need to focus on nutritionally dense foods. Now some people will say, Joe, does that mean I can never have dessert again? Absolutely not. That means you can have a smaller dessert. You can, not have the in-between desserts. We all know what that is, right? Okay, where you're sitting there watching TV and you have the box of cookies and you just don't stop. Very, very bad. Take the couple of cookies that you're going to have and walk away from the box. Walk away from the box. Okay? Because if you have that box there, you're not going to be able to stop. All right? Nutritionally dense foods, and then I always say adjust according to your doctor, because if your doctor says you can't have leafy green vegetables, or you can't have grapefruit juice, or you can't have a high fiber diet, listen to your doctor, but ask him, where can I get a replacement for that? Okay? Very, very important to ask him that. And this is not a diet, okay? I always have to stress that. This is not a diet that you're going to go on. This is the way to eat healthy for the rest of your life. Because when people say, I'm going on a diet, what happens? They come off the diet at some point, right? This is not a diet. This is the way to eat healthy for the rest of your life. Remember the old food pyramid? They did away with that a couple of years ago, and they came up with something called My Plate, and that's what's up there right now. Tufts University took that idea, which is up there in the corner, and they broke it out so it's easy to understand what your plate should look like at every meal. 1/2 of your plate should be healthy fruits and vegetables. And vegetables and fruits come in 5 different color groups. That's what's up there right now. Okay? There are 5 different color groups: blue, purple, green, yellow and orange, red, and white and tan. And we can all think of a fruit or vegetable that comes in one of those colors, right? So what I do is I play a game with myself every day. I try to get at least one from each one of those color groups, and I'll get my 5 to 9 servings every day, guaranteed. It's a great way to get your 5 to 9 servings. I like to tell people that these are your medicine. If you don't take medicine now, this is the way to get your medicine. It's the way to ward off disease, because all those different colors, they're like a medicine for your body that helps it fight off diseases like cancer. All the different diseases of aging. They're filled with antioxidants that help your body anti-age. Okay? Really, really important to get all the different colors there in your fruits and vegetables. Then a quarter of your plate up there on top should be mostly whole grains. You can have some regular grains as well. Things like oatmeal, which is 100% whole grains. You want to lower your blood pressure? Guaranteed, have a bowl of oatmeal every day. Guaranteed, you will lower your blood pressure. Brown rice instead of white rice. 100% whole grain cereals. All fantastic for you. And then down in the corner there, a quarter of your plate should be protein. So you have your dairy products. You have even peanut butter, yes, it's filled with protein, chicken, beans we talked about, tofu, and dairy products you want to make sure are the low-fat version. Okay? Nutrition, very, very important. So before we get to number 1, we've got some bad news for you. 4 out of 5 Americans over the age of 65 have at least one chronic health condition, and for a quarter of them, it's diabetes. If you're over the age of 60, you have a 50% chance of high blood pressure. Over the age of 70, a 75% chance of high blood pressure. And heart disease is the #1 killer of both men and women in America. So I was thinking, what can we do about it? And I came up with something great. It's called Joe's Free Anti-Aging Pills, and I brought a whole bag of them here with me today. I'm going to give you as many as you want to take home with you, okay? They're absolutely free. Let me just tell you what they can do. If you take my pill, it'll help you lower your risk for, help you maintain a healthy weight, lower your blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, improve your quality of sleep, manage your stress and depression, improve cognitive function. The list goes on and on. If you take this pill, it'll lower your risk for disability, arthritis, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, dementia, colon cancer, hypertension, osteoporosis. Again, the list goes on and on and on. Basically, everything bad that can happen to you as you age, this is going to lower your risk for or delay it for as long as possible. Remember those 5 biggest fears we talked about? If you take my pill, you are guaranteed to live independently longer. You're guaranteed to drive for more years. You're guaranteed to delay the possibility of going into a nursing home for as long as possible. You'll live a longer and healthier life. And I'm going to give you as many pills as you want. Give them to your family and friends. You won't have to worry about them passing away. It will even delay fear number 6, Alzheimer's and related dementias, for as long as possible. Does anybody not want the pill? You'd be a fool not to take the pill, right? But usually people are a little hesitant, but you guys seem fine with it. That's great. Because a lot of people say, well, there can't possibly be a pill, right, that does all that, because we'd be a fool not to take the pill, right? Everybody agree? Well, good, because it really is a pill called exercise. It just doesn't come in pill form. But you must do it. It is the most important thing an older adult can do. If you want to live independently longer, you must exercise. And there are 2 different types of exercise. You must get both. One you've probably heard of and are familiar with called aerobics. Aerobic exercise, okay? It's walking, hiking, biking, dancing, which engages both your body and your brain, fantastic for you. Whatever it is that raises your heartbeat up into a healthy level for a period of time is aerobic exercise, good for your heart. But as you age, you must also get anaerobic exercise, which is weightlifting. Okay, walking does give you some weightlifting because you're holding your body up, but you must work out with weights and increase your muscle mass. Because as we age, unless you're under 25, your body is suffering from something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the loss of 1% of your muscle mass every year after the age of 25, unless you're exercising a minimum of 2.5 hours a week. Okay? If you're not exercising that minimum amount, you're suffering from sarcopenia. So figure it out. If somebody is 75 years old and they've never exercised, they've lost half their muscle mass. So when you see somebody who's 75 or older and they're bedridden, or they're using a walker or a wheelchair and they don't have a broken leg or some other ailment that's stopping them from walking, it's because their legs can no longer hold their body mass up. They've lost so much leg muscle. You must replace that muscle all the time. Okay? You must exercise. Anybody know Anna Mae Swenson besides Nina? Okay, here's a great story about Anna Mae Swenson for those of you that don't know her. Anna Mae was 80 years old and decided for the first time she was going to exercise. Never exercised in her life, but at 80 she decided, I'm going to start exercising. Okay? And she bought herself an exercise bike and put it down in front of her TV and made a promise to herself that every night, no matter what time she got in, she was going to do 10 miles on that exercise bike. When I first spoke to her at the age of 99, she told me she had done 3.5 times around the world in mileage on that exercise bike. Yeah. I will tell you that Anna Mae Swenson this month turns 107 years old, still lives independently on her own, has her own apartment, she does her own dishes, she makes her own bed, she plays bridge twice a week. She is an amazing example of successful aging. When I last spoke to her, she said, I've broken the 4 times around the world mark, but I no longer do 10 miles a night, because I also do yoga and stretching classes now. I did this talk for a group up in Rhinebeck, and Anna Mae came to the talk and sat front row, so I was able to talk about her while she was right there. I'm going to show you a picture of Anna Mae in just a little bit. She is still walking. She does use a walker when she goes out because she's suffering from something called macular degeneration, which is taking away her eyesight. So she doesn't want to bump into somebody accidentally or have them bump into her and fall and break a hip or something horrible happen like that. But she is still independent. And I do want to say that the Office for the Aging has exercise programs. They're a suggested donation once a year, but otherwise it's absolutely free. They meet twice a week for an hour, and one of our exercise leaders here, Jackie, why don't you stand up and say hello? Jackie does one up in Red Hook, and she's going to do some demonstration of the exercises in the gym right after this talk. She set up a little area over there. If you want to go see just what the exercises are about, you don't have to even participate to see what they do. Jackie can explain that to you. And the exercise program is not just about exercise, because there's a lot more that goes that you can sort of tie into everything we just talked about. Socialization, right? You go to see people. If you're not there, guess what? They're going to wonder what happened to you. There's a lot of great things that happen, not just the exercise, okay? But it's a great way to replace that lost muscle mass. Right?